Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Black Women Who Coach. As you know, I conduct this series to introduce you guys to Black women who are coaches, who are engaging in transformational work with their clients. I always say if you're going to get a coach, then get a Black woman to do it. I created the Black Women Coach Directory, blackwomencoach.com, to connect Black women who are coaches with those who need their services. And today we're talking to Coach Alexis Whibbey. She's a life coach. Hi, Alexis. Thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. Well, as you said, I am Alexis. I am the founder of Evolutionary Life, LLC. I'm a Midwestern girl born and raised in Oklahoma. I am a transformational life and mindset coach. I'm also a self-published author as well. My book is titled Speak His Language, Words of Affirmation for the Man in Your Life. And more than that, I help women evolve into their greatest selves by teaching them to release their self-doubt and to transcend their self-imposed barriers. I also serve as an accountability partner for those who are having trouble reaching their goals. I kind of, hold their hand, walk them through the process, to get them to where they want to be.
And what inspired you to do what inspired you to do this type of coaching? And how do you think why do you think this type of coaching is important? So tell us what inspired you to do it, and then tell us a little bit about why you think this type of coaching is important.
So what inspired me to actually go into the business of coaching is that I've kind of been unofficially, life coaching people for most of my life. So being in a career and feeling like you're kind of on that hamster wheel is kind of something that propelled me into actually going into the business. I was helping someone else build their dream while completely ignoring and neglecting my own. And it was me pursuing my passion and deciding to live into my purpose. I think that life coaching is very important because oftentimes people think that they can do it on their own, and when they can't, they just don't do anything. They stay stagnant. It's important to know that there are resources and people like myself who can kind of help you, guide you, to help you fulfill your goals and even pursue and discover what your life purpose is.
And what would you say is the value add of having a Black woman coaching you in this area of transformational life coaching that you do?
Yeah, so when you are seeking help, it's comforting to know that the hand reaching out to you looks like yours. It's familiarity, and it's creating a safe space for Black women, because somebody like myself, a Black woman who is a part of the culture, who helps create the culture, I kind of know what it is to live the life of a Black woman. So on top of that, you don't have to go through the process of explaining your trials and tribulations and how you function in the world or the things that you go through, because you have somebody who is somewhat like-minded and who has similar experiences. So when you have someone who is relatable in that way, you spend less time trying to explain yourself and who you are and why you are. And you can get to the work and spend more time, going through the process and getting to the goals versus having to explain all of the nuances of who you are and why.
And why would you, what qualities would you say a person who is looking to work with a transformational life coach, what kind of qualities would you say they should be looking for?
Authenticity, first and foremost. With life coaching, the space has grown so much so quickly. Oftentimes people get into it as a money grab. They spend more time worrying about, the business of it and making sure that the money is coming in versus actually taking the time to ensure that the people that they're coaching are getting what they need. So first and foremost, definitely authenticity and somebody who's going to be relatable. Every coach isn't for everybody. So you want to find somebody whose teaching style is close to what your learning style is. The process in itself is difficult. So you don't want to have impediments like not being able to relate or learn from the person that you are speaking to on a weekly basis or daily or however the program works. You want somebody who you actually want to talk to, who you want to hear from, and who you want to work with. Because if you don't have that, then you're not going to want to show up and you're going to be less motivated. And again, the process itself is already so difficult, just because sometimes there are barriers that clients have to go through to get to where they want to be. So that's what I would say: authenticity and relatability in coaching style.
And what kind of person would you say you're looking for as the ideal potential client when you're making a decision? Because we can't take everybody. So how do you decide like who is the person that you feel like you can work best? What kind of qualities do you look for?
First and foremost, I look for someone who is coachable, somebody who's coachable and open-minded. Again, the process is that it's a process. So on that journey, you want it to be as easygoing as it can be. So if you find somebody, or if I find a client who is kind of resistant to coaching, it's not going to work. You're not going to, you're not going to want to do your homework. You're not going to show up. And then also somebody who is dedicated to actually reaching the goal, somebody who is committed to that and will be faithful to themselves in their goals. Oftentimes we cheat on ourselves, and by cheating on ourselves, we cheat the goal. We cheat the impact that the coaching can have. So first and foremost, like I said, open-mindedness and dedication to the end goal.
And one of the things I always like to ask is, if someone wants to work with you, how would they do that? Alexis is a member of the Black Women Coach Directory, so you will be able to find her there. But tell us, other ways that people can find you if they want to work with you.
Yeah, so the first place to reach me is going to my website, which is alexisnichelle.com. That's AlexisNichelle.com. You can find me there. Also there, you should be able to find the links to my social media. So Instagram is at Alexis Nichelle. You can always send me a message there, or on Facebook, it's Alexis Nichelle Evolves. So if you're wanting to work with me, you can definitely reach out that way. I'm also thinking of moving from one-on-ones to group. So there's kind of a smaller window to work with me one-on-one. So if you'd like to do that and have the opportunity to work with me, definitely reach out either of those three places.
And my last question is, before we ask that though, tell me a little bit about any coaching projects, because you just talked about one-on-one. So you have one-on-one coaching and you're also offering group coaching. Is that correct? Are there any other programs that you're offering?
No, so the group coaching is fairly new. So that's something that we're working on. We're getting the programs together. So we don't have those completed yet. But that's something that is really new and is definitely far more difficult than one-on-ones. Working with someone one-on-one, it's personal, it's their specific needs. When you're working with group coaching or putting the program together, you have to have everyone in mind. You know what I mean? So that it's information in being taught in a way that everybody can grasp, understand, and get the message. So that is what I'm working on. Hopefully that'll be together in the next month or two. But right now we're just kind of focusing on the one-on-ones. And I actually am also, hopefully I'll have it finished by the end of the year, but I'm also working on a new book, which will be titled Unafraid to Heal. And it's just kind of the story of my life and how I grew up and how I was able to overcome my traumas and kind of do some self-reflection to reconcile those traumas.
That sounds terrific. And as I said before, Alexis will have a link to her, her profile in the Black Women Coach Directory, as well as to her website. So if you want to work with her, you can find her information there. The last question I have for you is, tell us one important thing that you've learned about yourself through coaching others.
One important thing that I've learned through coaching others, I learned that as a coach, you don't have to be perfect. Oftentimes people have the idea that coaches or even therapists are perfect and they never have problems, they never go through anything, or that they never even need help to get through those things. And sometimes, at least when I was starting, I found it difficult to kind of separate the two, like, oh my gosh, I'm going through all these personal things. How can I show up and help other people with their problems when I'm going through so much myself? But it's really a separation, and it doesn't stop me from being an effective coach just because I'm going through something personally.
The reality is, if I might add to that, is that because you're going through something is why you're able to help other people. So
Exactly.
it's one of those things that, I always tell people in the work that I do with my clients. I'm an HR consultant. I'm definitely not a coach. I don't hold myself out to be one, but I'm an HR consultant, and I do have to deal and hear about some of the traumas that my clients experience, because people come to me at very difficult times when they're dealing with very difficult workplace issues. They know they're being treated poorly at work and they're trying to figure out how to navigate their way out. And you always learn something, and you have to then face your own things, right? While you're helping somebody, because you're reliving. For me, I'm often reliving things that happened to me when I was in corporate America, and then helping somebody navigate the same thing. So it opens up your own stuff, and you have to make sure that you've dealt with your stuff in order to be able to help people effectively. But then you also sometimes end up having to reevaluate things at the same time while you're working with other people. But I think because the more human you are in these processes with people, actually ends up being the more effective you become, right? Because people will see that they can relate to you, and that you understand what it is that's going on with them, because you're a human being with your own struggles and your own issues. And I think a lot of times as Black women, we think we have to be perfect. And it's actually in being imperfect that makes you more personable and makes you easier for people to relate to. So it really is an interesting lesson that you mentioned that you've learned, because it's a lesson that some of us don't come to as easily, but it's an important thing, especially if you're a coach. One of my best coaches that I talk about all the time told me, she said, coaches need coaches. Good coaches have coaches, and you have to be always prepared to deal with your own stuff while you're working with other people on their stuff. Right. Yeah. So good coaches are willing to be transparent about that as well. So it's really great to hear you say that and be transparent about the fact that, you're coming to this as a human being and you have your own stuff that you're dealing with, but at the same time, you're still able to help people transform their own lives because you've already transformed yours. So it helps. Thank you so much, Alexis. It's very nice to meet you. I always love meeting people from the directory and getting an opportunity to talk to them. So that's one of the other fun things about doing these conversations. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to us today about your practice. You can follow Alexis on social media, and you can find her at her website, which will be in the description linked to this conversation. As always, I hope you guys found this conversation helpful and informative. And I thank you guys for watching Conversations with Black Women Who Coach. If you find this content helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Anne Marie, the anti-HR lady, and I'll see you guys in the next video.